Fellas, what's good? It's your guy, BowTie Fragrance Guy. Best dresser in the game. It ain't even close. Yes, sir. Go time. Showtime. No time. YouTube, what's good, man? It's your boy Darian. Of course, I'm the BowTie Fragrance Guy on this channel. Obviously, we're going to talk about fragrances, but I like throwing some style. Grooming tips. Look good. Smell amazing. That's my motto. So if you're into that as well, make sure you hit subscribe. Don't forget to enable notifications as well. That way, anytime a new video is uploaded, you get notified. Guys, on today's video, we're going to be talking about my, 10/12 niche fragrances for life. I love doing this video every few months or so, just to kind of see what's changed. I don't go back and look at the previous video. I probably have a good idea of what was on there. But occasionally one or two new fragrances kind of creep in and kind of dethrone something else. But at the core, you're probably going to see 5, 6, or 7 of the same things over and over, because when it gets to this particular level of things I'll keep for the rest of my life, a lot of that stuff doesn't really change. So I want to make sure I link the latest installment of this video I did prior to this video, so you can check that one out as well and do the same thing. See what I had a few months ago and what I have in there now. So anyway, you guys know how this works. People like to say, if there was a fire, I don't want a fire to come to my house. If there was a fire or something was going on and I had to get 10 of my fragrances and only those 10, I would only have time for those 10. These are the 10 I would grab and keep. It's kind of sort of the idea behind it. So anyway, I'm gonna run the intro and we'll come back when I talk about my 10 niche fragrances for life as it stands today. So if you want to see what's on the list, you know the routine. Keep it locked right here. Let's get it. Yes, sir.
The BowTie Fragrance Guy.
All right, guys, we are back. Thank you so much for keeping it locked in. Let's jump right into it, man. I don't want to belabor the time. 2 quick honorable mentions. The first one is this. Y'all already know what this is, Acqu Di Gio. Now, the reason this is an honorable mention, of course, this is pineapple, this is black currant, this is a smoky birch, this is oak moss, vanilla. This stuff is fantastic. The reason this is an honorable mention right now, because there's another creed that has a little bit more sentimental value to me, and the newer versions of this fragrance aren't quite what this one is. Now they're still good, it's still Acqu Di Gio, but this is special. And I'm probably never going to be able to get another bottle of this 17 N01. I know you guys are tired of hearing me saying that and rubbing it in, but this 17 N01 back to this fragrance, this is special. This fragrance, this particular batch is special. Honestly, this is a fragrance I am going to have for the rest of my life because I do love the fragrance so much. Even with all the other clones and all this other stuff that has come about since its inception. But I just know I probably can't get this batch again. So for sentimental reasons and the fact that I probably can't really get this batch again unless I am going to sell a kidney, and I'm not going to do that. I probably won't get this one again. And this, if I could, this would probably be it would be really close between another fragrance and this for my favorite fragrance in my entire collection. This is up there. This batch is up there. It could be my favorite fragrance in my collection. If it's not, my favorite is number 2 with another fragrance on this list. So anyway, Acqu Di Gio, you guys know what this is and what it does. I'm gonna give it a quick honorable mention. And the other honorable mention is this. Adonis Awakens from Argos. You know, this one, of course, is rose, raspberry. You have this chestnut accord in here and sandalwood. It's some of the main notes. Honestly, as far as just overall scent profile, this is one of the best, for my taste, one of the best smelling fragrances in my collection. There's just a little bit more sentimental value with some of the other ones right now. Check it out. Adonis Awakens. This stuff is fantastic. Now, the first fragrance up on my 10 fragrances, niche fragrances for life, is this one from Parfums, Diaghilev. This stuff is beyond phenomenal, man. Seriously. The Agave from Roger Parfums. Jesus Christ, this is good, guys. Peach, oak moss, patchouli, labdanum, and nutmeg, just to name a few notes. Guys, this stuff is amazing. It's expensive, but there are places you can get samples of this fragrance. And Jesus, guys, this stuff is so freaking phenomenal. That's all I can really say about it. Fruity Chypre. I mean, it's expensive, but my gosh, this thing performs. It is gentlemanly. And when I put on a suit, there's not another fragrance in my collection. There's not many that can compete with this. I'll say it that way. And I have some stuff, you know what I mean? But when you talk about dressed up, masculine, manly, traditional with a kind of modern twist, this stuff is unbelievable. Seriously, guys. And you talk about, this is a fragrance when you smell it and you put it on your skin, the wearing experience. If you've ever had any issue trying to differentiate what people are talking about when they talk about the quality of a fragrance and the ingredients used, this one will give you clarity. This will give you clarity because you smell quality. You smell quality with this fragrance, and I absolutely adore it. Because I dress up so much, this is a fragrance that I gotta always have in my collection, man, because it is the best pairing with the suit that you will find in the game. So check it out from the brand of Roger Parfums, masculine, manly goodness. This is the Agave. All right, guys, the next niche fragrance that I will keep for the rest of my life. This is the fragrance that, with my 17 N01 batch of Creed Aventus, would compete for my favorite fragrance in my collection. You know what this is from the brand of BowTie Victorious? This is Blue Sapphire. It's unfair how good this smells. Seriously, lemon. This is chamomile, rose, magnolia, oud, tagettes, some of the main notes here. And again, what this smells like is rose with a candied lemon, so like a rose lemon heads, a little bit of smooth oud in the base, and some beautiful creamy white florals. Jesus Christ. This is unfair. I mean, it should be against the law to wear this stuff out in public. It's just what it is. That is what it is. This stuff is fantastic, man. I can't, honestly, for me, say enough good things about this fragrance. Just get a sample, do yourself a favor, and check it out, man. Phenomenal stuff from the brand of BowTie Victorious, Blue Sapphire. The next fragrance comes from one of my favorite niche brands, the brand of Amouage, and this is Reflection 45. Reflection 45, lavender, iris, jasmine, sandalwood, myrrh, and a pamplemousse. So again, those first notes that I mentioned is what really made the original Reflection Man what it is. A masterpiece in its own right. Like I said, when they added those kind of resins and smoky elements to this fragrance, it made it even more versatile, in my opinion. Obviously, the original Reflection, of course, if you're inside, you can wear it whenever, just like most fragrances, but this is just more versatile. The myrrh of pamplemousse and some of those smokier elements that they put in some of the resins they added to this DNA, you can still wear this in the summertime. It's that kind of scent profile. I just think they made the scent profile of Reflection Man even better. And in my opinion, that was hard to do because the original is so good, but they did it. I don't have words. I don't have words for it. Jesus Christ, man. Just check this stuff out, guys, if you can. Reflection 45 from Amouage. All right, guys, I get really sentimental when I talk about this fragrance, man, because of what it means to me in my fragrance journey. And I don't want to talk too much about it, but from the brand of Creed, man, this is Original Santal. Original Santal, juniper berries, sandalwood, tonka bean, lavender, orange blossom, some of the main notes. When you talk about a sentimental fragrance, this is one of my first niche purchases. This fragrance, and I fell in love with it. I love the bottle. I love the red. Creed was the first niche brand I took a deep dive into and collected most of the fragrances I wanted from this collection. As you can see, I have the 4-ounce bottles. And again, I think they stopped these around 2018 or 19 maybe. And they went to the 3.3-ounce bottle. So some of you guys that are newer to the fragrance game, These are not fake bottles. Creed actually had 4-ounce bottles back in the day. This batch is a 15 Z01, and I never forget when I got this. I started with a smaller bottle. I think what they used to make 50 mLs maybe. This is 50 or 75 mLs back in the day. So I started with a bottle that ran through it, and I actually found a guy that was selling this on eBay. And I remember the day I got it, I was so excited to get it. I took a break from work, drove home about 20 minutes as soon as it got to the mailbox. The guy that sent it to me, he sent it. It was snail mail. I don't remember how long it took, but it was too long. And I was in such anticipation of getting this, and I'm gonna cherish this, man. Again, if you guys knew what this meant to me in my fragrance journey, you'd understand. This is always gonna be my heart fragrance from the brand of Creed, Original Santal. Reminds me of some great days in this fragrance community that we call it. All right, guys, the next fragrance, we're going back to the brand of Parfums. A lot of times when I do this, I don't really like to have multiple fragrances from the same brand, but sometimes it just is what it is, and that's where I was today. There's no way I could do 10 for life, smell this like I did and say I'm gonna leave it off. But this one is Creation E. Man, this is, oh my gosh. Cognac, tobacco, benzoin, patchouli, and I gotta throw ginger in there. So everybody talks about this fragrance and it has this Coca-Cola vibe. So you get that because of the cognac up top. And then you have the ginger, which gives that fizziness to this fragrance in the opening. There's some other citrus notes as well that kind of play a role here, but a lot of, you know, nice vanillic touches to this fragrance as well to kind of complement that booziness and that fizzy ginger up top. Guys, this is the kind of stuff, man, especially for a lot of people just getting into this. Once you start putting your nose on stuff like this, I don't think a lot of people are niche snobs, but sometimes the more you experience fragrance and you smell stuff like this, and then you have these designer brands doing like this whole copycat stuff and everything smells like, this is just gonna be so refreshing for you. And I think it'll give you an even deeper appreciation of what fragrance is and what it has potential to be. So check this one out from the brand of Parfums. Absolute masterpiece of a fragrance. This is Creation E. Always gonna have this in my collection. All right, this next fragrance goes without saying, man. When you see me, I'm synonymous with this fragrance, especially what I call it. Done by one of my favorite master perfumers of all time, Dominique Ropion. This is Portrait of a Lady. And I affectionately refer to it as what, guys? Portrait of a man. Because that's what it is when I wear it. Rose, incense, patchouli, raspberry, and benzoin are some of the main notes. The main notes, of course, the main note is that patchouli. Of course, the rose and patchouli, those are the main two primary notes, but you get a lot of that smoky incense in the background as well. That nice slight touch of raspberry, to me, helps to keep it from being too earthy and too incensey. The raspberry is just the right touch here with the rose. This stuff is just next level. This is not for everybody. I tell people, as much as I love this fragrance, this is not going to be for everybody. Some people have said it's like it kind of has an old lady scent profile, quote unquote. I see where you're coming from with that. But I will tell you, magic happens when it hits my skin. And that's what this is about, man. What works for you. Masterpiece. Easily, hands down. Again, I always say this. This is my most complimented fragrance of all time in one day. 7 compliments. Men and women alike for asking, what is that you're wearing? It smells great. Maybe wear this next week. From the brand of Frederic Malle. Portrait of a Lady, and I call it what? Portrait of a Man. All right, guys, the next fragrance on the list, this is one that kind of goes in and out of my top 10 niche fragrances for life. There's another fragrance from this brand that I kind of sometimes put in its place. But this is my first introduction to this house, and there's some sentimental value here as well because Kevin Samuels introduced me to this fragrance. Prince in a Bottle, guys. This is Bleecker Street. Bleecker Street. And of course, what you get with this is violet leaves, blueberry, cinnamon, oak moss, caramel, patchouli. So it is very like two, you know, kind of dynamics going on here. Very green and springy type of scent profile, and then a gourmand scent profile. There's a lot of mystery here about whether or not there's actually blueberry in this, but it definitely smells like it. And that just could be a combination of how the more green kind of fresher elements to kind of play off of the sweet tonka and caramel and stuff like that. Just to, you know, what it creates together harmoniously as almost like an accord in this fragrance. But this stuff is, oh my God, it is so good. There's a lot of sentimental value here. New York Oud is another one that is right there. It's a whole lot of rose fragrances for life. I had to kind of consider that, honestly. And then also Lafayette Street, which is a fragrance that I talked about a lot, but this is kind of sort of where it started. So for right now, today, one of my 10 niche fragrances for life is Prince in a Bottle. Shout out to the guy I follow, man. Great time back then in the fragrance community. This is Bleecker Street. All right, guys, with this next fragrance, we're going back to the brand of BowTie Victorious. Honestly, there are about 2 other fragrances from this brand that could be on this list. I try not to make it like a list that's inundated with the same brand, but Jesus Christ, this is good. It is unique. There's nothing else I've ever smelled like this. And honestly, for me, that's why I kind of got the nod. This is Mokus. Jesus Christ, this is black pepper, lavender, orris root, caramel, tonka bean, and vanilla are some of the main notes. And honestly, it's really hard for me to describe this and how good it is. It has gourmand touches to it because, again, you have caramel, you have tonka bean, and vanilla. So those are all very sweet kind of, you know, notes that you have in here. But then you have this powdery nuance here as well with this very earthiness to it. You know, so it's powdery, so the orris root is giving powdery and earthiness in this fragrance. And it is just a masterpiece of a fragrance. Don't know why they discontinued this, but I really sincerely hope that they would bring it back because I need another bottle. There was a guy selling a backup on in one of the fragrance groups that I'm in, the BowTie fragrance group, but you know, he wanted $900. That's not overpriced to me for how much I love it, but I just didn't want to do that at that time because I had just gotten some other stuff. You know how that goes sometimes. But anyway, man, this stuff is good. Almost impossible to get it, but it's one of my 10 for life. I just cherish this. Wear it very sparingly. This is Mokus. This stuff is fantastic. I have never smelled anything like it. All right, guys, the next fragrance on this list, this fragrance comes from the brand of By Kilian. Another brand that there are so many fragrances that I could have honestly included on the list from this brand. And I know you guys get a little agitated when I talk about this because it's discontinued, but Straight to Heaven Extreme. Just look at the bottle. Stuff is phenomenal, guys. Rum, cedarwood, dried fruits, vanilla, and nutmeg. This is so good. So, listen, guys, I always tell you, you can get the original Straight to Heaven. You're gonna get the same scent profile, but again, this is just an amplified version of the original. So not much different in how it smells per se, but this is richer. The rum is boozier. The cedarwood, you know, again, is more present and it lasts a little bit longer than the original. So just get the original. But guys, this stuff is just magic. This is just magic. This is one of the missus' favorite fragrances for me to wear. She loves when I wear this stuff. And again, I can't say enough good things about it. So many fragrances from this brand. Another brand that has some of my favorite fragrances like Angel Share, Black Phantom, Apple Brandy, as well as Single Malt. I really would love to put all of these fragrances on this list because that's how much I love all of those fragrances I just talked about. But this is just that extra little level of special because outside of the original Straight to Heaven, there's nothing that smells like this on planet Earth. We'll always have this stuff. I knock them out with a suit and tie a formal occasion with this fragrance from the brand of Kilian, Straight to Heaven Extreme. But that is it, guys. That is my time. I hope you enjoyed this video today as I gave you my 10 niche fragrances and 2 honorable mentions for life. What are some fragrances you have that you would say are your niche fragrances for life? It doesn't have to be 10. Drop a few of them down in the comment section. I would love to kind of see what you guys would put on a list like this and kind of get an idea for what your taste is. As always, I sincerely appreciate your time and your attention to these videos. You don't have to watch, but you do. And I sincerely appreciate that. Now, don't forget to take a few moments to like, comment, and subscribe. Please make sure you are sharing these videos out to some other folks that you think could use the information or find it entertaining. Because I'm your guy, Darian. I'm the BowTie Fragrance Guy. I love to look good, and of course, I love to smell amazing. So until next time, keep looking good, keep smelling even better. I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.